Yes, देखिए fast is a new phenomenon. India is now considered as a fast power. We are fastly changing our policy under Modi government. Smart power is a combination of hard power and soft power. Smart power is a combination of hard power and soft power. Means a country which has both. Let's say US is an example of smart power. It has both. That's the hard power to dominate any country and the soft power to attract any country. Fast में भी गिन सकते हैं उसे. Yes, Daman. Any other democratic illiberalism? हाँ तो सर एक बार हमने डेमोक्रेटिक illiberalism पे लिख लिया था. Yasha Monk emphasized on what was that? Why India has doubled its trade with Russia? To signify its independence. If we look from the political science, only IR perspective, the main logic is we are trying to signal independence. If we will study in India, Russia, what has happened since Modi government has come to power, now we have shifted too much to USA. That has always been the trend. BJP has always been inclined toward USA. Other parties, including Congress, has always been inclined toward Russia. Depending upon who comes to power, our inclination changes. So Modi government was going too much in favor of USA, towing their line. For the first time, we visited Israel without visiting Palestine. On all the fora, we were taking their side. Then Russia countered it. Russia signed a defense pact with Pakistan. That was I would say, a big jolt to the Modi government. Okay, for the first time, our enemy country is signing a defense pact with our so-called friend forever. Modi government is trying to go for a balancing act now. Sorry, it is because of the हो सकता है. हाँ, यूक्रेन में एक्चुअली इंडिया डज नॉट वांट टू बी सीन एज एनी पार्ट. वो नहीं चाहता कि यूएस समझे वो उसकी साइड है, रशिया समझे उसकी साइड है, पर वो ये भी नहीं चाहता कि वो दोनों समझे मैं किसी की साइड नहीं हूँ. So we are doing a very, I would say, tough balancing act, very balancing act, or it is a good idea. The Modi government has followed a very good policy in Ukraine. ये actually we will know, ये हम देखेंगे. It's a hypocrisy we will find in every country. हर कंट्री का जो यूएन पे स्टैंड रहता है, लार्जली दे नेवर फॉलो. हर जगह hypocrisy is a very big norm. वो हमने पढ़ा नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, हर चीज नेशनल इंटरेस्ट में जस्टिफाई होती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी आपने देखा होगा दैट कश्मीरी फाइल पे इशू चल रहा है. दैट इजरायली पर्सन हैज कमेंटेड इट्स अ वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा. देन इजरायली डिप्लोमेट आस्क्ड सॉरी. इसलिए नहीं बिकॉज ही इज रियली फीलिंग द पेन ऑफ द इंडियंस, बिकॉज इजराइल वांट्स गुड रिलेशन विद इंडिया. अगर इजराइल वुड नॉट बी लुकिंग फॉर गुड रिलेशन ना, तो कोई सॉरी नहीं बोलता. हाँ, Israeli diplomat has said we are getting a lot of DMs, threats or kind of things. So what you said is wrong. It is damaging our relationship and all. But that is only because of their interest they have with India. वरना कोई सॉरी नहीं बोलने वाला. वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा. अब उसमें देखिए इट्स वेरी सब्जेक्टिव. किसी ने देखी है यहाँ पे कश्मीर फाइल्स? सबने देखी? किसी ने देखी नहीं है? किसने नहीं देखी? Yes, it's biased. Biased है if you look at the movie, but calling it vulgar propaganda तो ठीक नहीं होगा. Propaganda it is. Vulgar नहीं कह सकते. If you look at the movie, it is highly biased in favor of one narrative. देखिए कश्मीरी पंडित, what happened to Kashmiri Pandit is real. It was a genocide. No one is denying that. But you are using that to basically propagate an idea that few people were responsible. अब ठीक है, वो पॉलिटिकल चलता रहता है, हर पार्टियां लगी हुई हैं इसमें. Anyway, we understood ना that media वाला, that media acts as a percolation of what information you will get, and that includes social media and our Bollywood also. They are a strong tool of you can say soft power. तो इसलिए हर सरकार कोशिश करती है. चलिए anyway, any other question? Democratic illiberalism किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लिखा था हमने? स्टार पावर के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. ओके. Democratic illiberalism we are talking about that, for example US में Yes, that happened. Again, no one is denying the genocide. What I'm saying, what that person was trying to emphasize is that movie has different orientation. बहुत dispute है. It's anyway politically sensitive. Nobody will ask in UPSC. ठीक है, so don't care. चलिए नेक्स्ट लिखिए. देखिए डेमोक्रेटिक लिबरलिज्म बेसिकली अंबर इज एन आइडिया. फॉर एग्जांपल यूएस में इलेक्शन, हाउ वी अंडरस्टैंड इलेक्शंस, that you the people vote a government in power and you change the government. But we are living in an era where you don't change the government changes your mind to vote. Government changes your mind to vote. For example, you prefer BJP to vote, you prefer Congress to vote. So it's the case study. Mosaic Fonseca, I believe. नहीं, this was a different one. Cambridge Analytica. ये सुना है किसी ने Cambridge Analytica का? Ever heard of Cambridge Analytica? नहीं सुना. Cambridge तो सब नहीं सुना है, Analytica नहीं सुना. So basically, it was a company that took a lot of data from Facebook. First of all of us are being tracked every second of our life. आपने देखा ना, when you visit at some place and then a notification come by Google, how was the place? तो किसने बताया उसे? We all are being tracked every second of our life, and we are producing a lot of data. Every time you spend on your smartphone, you are generating a data point about you. Then they are analyzed by algorithm, and your personality is determined. Facebook knows more about you than you yourself. The way you like comment, the way you like content, they get to know what is your orientation. So what happened is Cambridge Analytica took a lot of data from Facebook about all the users in US particularly. Then they analyzed the data and classified people into 3 categories: supporter of Trump, supporter of Hillary Clinton, and yet to be decided. So what happened is they were very clear that these people will support Trump, these people will support Hillary Clinton. There is no point of influencing them. So what they did is they influenced this person, and they are always in the majority. They fed them fake videos, fake content, fake articles. Everything was fake. It was only to generate support in favor of him and hatred for him. That was a revolution Cambridge Analytica did. That forced the people to vote for a person that they would otherwise hate. And ये चलता रहता है आज के समय में. How you can think that a lot of people you see ना who justifies कि 120 rupee petrol कोई बात नहीं. I give you a very small example from India. When Bihar election was going on, the reporter went there. He asked, there was a old person. He had a question to him. He said, किसको वोट दोगे? He said, I will vote to this party. He said, why? Then he said, because we have taken Aksai Chin from China. There is a place in Jammu Kashmir called Aksai Chin, which is under Chinese control. I hope सबको पता है. Jammu Kashmir is divided into 3 parts. One is controlled by Pakistan, one is controlled by us, and one is by China. So for that person, for him, we have taken under particular government that Aksai Chin from China. So he will vote him for that. ऐसा हुआ नहीं है. We all know this. But he believes. When he was asked how you get to know this information, he said, मुझे WhatsApp forward आया था. That's the influence. By using WhatsApp, it's very obvious. If I'm a politician, I say something to you, you will doubt me. But imagine a forward that comes from your relative, your friend, somebody close to you. There's high chances you will accept that as true. इसमें deep face हो जाता है. Politician will say you will doubt it, किसने कुछ झूठ बोला है. But if your friend, if your colleague, somebody will say, you may not doubt it. That's how it works. तो यही आपका democratic liberalism का phenomenon. Or this is the reason we are having protests around the world, because people are unable to understand क्या हो क्या रहा है. We bring a government to work for us, but that does not work. So they are getting confused कि how we should deal with this. इसको हम करेंगे when we will do protest. 2008 का crisis is the starting point. I believe so. Economy में पढ़ा आपने 2008 का financial crisis, 2008 का financial crisis. That is the कहाँ नहीं हुआ है. अरे ठीक है, मैं कह रहा हुआ ही नहीं है क्या. मेरे को लगा व्हाट्सएप के विक्टिम हो गया तुम. हुआ ही नहीं है. ओके, हुआ नहीं होगा. आई डोंट नो. इकोनॉमिक्स में करवा दिया जाएगा. व्हाटएवर मे बी द केस. मैं इकोनॉमिक का पढ़ा रहा हूँ. भविष्यवाणी कर रहे हैं सब लोग. चलो ठीक है, नेक्स्ट लिखिए. थ्योरी ऑफ सिक्योरिटाइजेशन. थ्योरी ऑफ सिक्योरिटाइजेशन एंड सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट. Theory of securitization and security threat. What do you think about security threat? What is security threat? Khatra, yes. Privacy? Acha. Parents looking in your phone, security threat. पता नहीं क्या मिल जाए. ठीक है. Yes. This theory basically emphasizes a phenomenon in IR. What happens is this theory is emphasized. It's given by Barry Buzen. The scholar is not important for you, but understand the phenomena. What he said that security threats are not there. Basically, he said what is a security threat is just a speech and nothing else. How? If the Prime Minister of India from the rampart of Parliament or in the rampart of Red Fort or Parliament, if that person says that this thing is the biggest threat to Indian society, so what will happen? Because that person is the Prime Minister and he has referred an issue as security threat. All of a sudden, the entire government of India, the entire state machinery will start acting on that point. So a thing that may or may not be a threat will become a threat. Example, how many people may die from terrorism every year? In India, मान लेते हैं, rough guess. कुछ भी बोल लो, मैं कहता हूँ 1 लाख मानते हैं. Again, I am not discounting any life. I am not discounting any life. Every life is equal. Okay, I am not discounting. But nonetheless, how many people die because of lack of food, water, bad transport, health? How many people die in India? A lakh crores of people. Only from highway accident. And highway accidents happen and there is no availability of medical care within 1 hour, known as golden hour rule. And this has gone down. Anyway, that is known as golden hour rule. If that does not happen, that person could be saved if that person get assistance within 1 hour. So this is Ministry of Health report that around 5 lakh people in India suffers the damage only because of lack of accessibility, and 1 lakh people die every year in India only by road accidents. And what is the problem? Golden hour health assistance वो नहीं मिलता. Clear? So crores of people die because of lack of these things. But none of these are security threat. If Prime Minister from the health, from I would say Red Fort or in Parliament, if Prime Minister refers that, for example, people dying in road accident is a security threat to India's development, then entire government of India, all the state will start working on reducing accidents. When Prime Minister made sanitation a critical issue, a threat to Indian society, the Swachh Bharat became a hit. Everyone was starting talking about, bhai, yahan kooda mat karo, ye mat karo. So get the point. This theory says that security threats are not there. They are made by a speech by a person in power. इससे क्या होता है? When you have this phenomenon is known as securitization, where you securitize something for something else. For example, people ask, sir, give us food. Then government will say, look at Pakistan, it is more worse than you. If Nepal mein people will say, we are a least developed country, do something, they will say it is India who is responsible. So what they are doing, they are securitizing India as a threat for Nepalese prosperity. Got the point? अब इंडिया जिम्मेदार है, भाई आप लोग काम नहीं कर सकते, you are unable to work, you are unable to provide services to your people, and you are blaming India every day. India bashing is a common thing in Nepal. In every election, India is bashed. Clear? So this is called securitization. When a nation securitizes an issue, and that issue becomes a threat. Clear हो रहा सबको? Any question? नहीं question है कोई? People online, any question? It's very important because it explains us why government of India may spend. अभी हम करेंगे, for example, Siachen Glacier. It's a glacier under India's control. Indian government spend more than 5 crore rupees per day, and a lot of troops also die because of frost bites and all. Now imagine you are spending 5 crore rupees on a glacier which is in any way uninhabitable. Nobody can inhabit that place. You are just keeping that. Why? Because you cannot let that glacier go under the hand of Pakistan. So you have securitized a glacier, because of which you are spending more than 5 crore rupees. The crore rupees you could have used to feed a kid dying out of hunger in India. Global hunger index we have reduced, In all socioeconomic indicators, we are going down. So that 5 crore rupees could have been used to feed a kid, to feed an entire society. But you are using that money to, Vaishak, we are not saying it is not strategic importance. वही तो हम कह रहे हैं, because we do not want that under the Pakistan's control, because they can see by that we can have a site to Trans-Karakoram tract and all. Of course, it is strategically significant. But what I am trying to say is that this theory explains how government diverts some money from essential question of food, water and everything to an issue which they think is a threat. Clear हो रहा है? And it works a lot of places. हम जैसे we will go ahead ना, I will mention this theory again and again at a lot of places. उसमें for example you are saying ना that studying importance CHN, उसमें there is a scholar Stephen P. Cohen. He has said CHN is like a comb sold to two bald people. CHN एक कंघी की तरह दो गंजों के लिए. So he has remarked that. Again, static significance Pakistan के लिए भी है. There are a lot of issues in this world which are only satisfying the egos of the politicians. If you equity in what?
When both of these issues are very important as well as treating the people of India as important, healthcare infrastructure. Why can't we maintain a certain amount of equity?
Because I told you, because that terrorism is securitized. If you want to spend more on health, securitize health first. A person in the authority will say that the biggest threat to India's security is people dying out of hunger. This speech must come out of somebody's mouth, especially from authority. Then it will become as important as terrorism. You got the point? Agar, for example, some terrorist event happened, 2 people die, even 2 people, I'm not saying more, 2 people die, again it becomes a big issue. All of a sudden, all red notices are there, Delhi mein security बढ़ जाती है. तो entire India start acting like कि अब उन पे ही सब पे attack होने वाला है. I'm not saying they should not do. What I'm saying is a simple bomb event will trickles a entire machinery to beef up the security. But यहाँ पे मोरबी में ब्रिज गिर जाता है, लोग मर जाते हैं. And there are a lot of bridges in India which are unsafe. उन पे कुछ नहीं हो रहा. But the point, that is the thing. Securitize health first. ठीक है. चलिए, and no issue ना. इसमें विशाख when we will do क्या बोलते हैं इसे, basically saying that when you have Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Myanmar as neighbor, you cannot keep defense as a second priority. इसमें हम करेंगे अमर्त्य सिंह की theory. Again, what we are referring exclusively to scholars, अपनी personal opinion नहीं. तो इसमें अमर्त्य सिंह की theory करेंगे. He has given a theory of human security. Human security. He has said that security is what you are saying, this defense and all. Military security is only a component of human security. Human security is a big dimension. What is the point of protecting your border when your people die out of hunger? That is his logic. क्या करोगे उस बॉर्डर का जहां पे आपके लोग भूखे मर रहे हैं? क्या करोगे उस विश्व गुरु का जहां पे लोग भूखे मर रहे हैं? That is his argument. तो हम both side we will look. Of course, there is strategic importance. We cannot give CHN भाई ऐसे ही नहीं क्योंकि we are very idealist, नहीं. But we will keep idealism with us also, which will tell us where we have to go, and the reality will tell us where we are. ठीक है, लिखिए. हाँ तो स्कॉलर है ना, हम लोग, हम व्यक्ति हैं. लिखिए, चलिए, राइट डाउन. This theory is given by Barry Buzin. This theory is given by Barry Buzin, full stop. He has emphasized, given by Barry Buzin, he has emphasized that security threats are not real. Security threats are not real. Full stop. They are a direct outcome. They are a direct outcome of a speech. They are a direct outcome of a speech given by certain person, in authority. Next point. Basically he emphasized that security means freedom from threat. Security means freedom from threat, whether real or apparent. Okay. Full stop. Next point. For example, terrorism. Terrorism is often securitized. Even when the people dying out of hunger, bad health, and state negligence. Are more. Full stop. Clear? Next, write down security and insecurity dilemma. Security and insecurity dilemma. Security and insecurity dilemma. This will come handy in United Nations when we will understand UN. Because security basically is nothing. We just understood. What is security? Freedom from threat, whether real or apparent. So security, we have security and insecurity dilemma. Security dilemma is what a country suffers vis-a-vis other country. For example, India acquired nuclear weapon. What was the reason we gave? किसी को पता है कुछ? Which? Who said? पाकिस्तान का नहीं रीजन दिया था हमने. We acquired nuclear weapon. We gave a reason somebody. हाँ, deterrence तो ठीक है, पर against whom? अरे यूएसए के खिलाफ नहीं. Yes, the man, China. ठीक है, when we adopted nuclear weapon in our doctrine, basically we emphasize we are acquiring nuclear weapon because we have an enemy country by the name of China, so we want it. हाँ, वो हमारा न्यूक्लियर डॉक्ट्राइन में है, वो हम करेंगे. बट दिस एक्सप्लेन्स सिक्योरिटी डिलेमा. Means a security that a country feels that my security is threatened by something outside of my country. India feared that China may use nuclear weapon. That's why we had nuclear weapon. Pakistan blamed India for acquiring nuclear weapon. Pakistan blamed whom? India. That India has, for example, there is a very popular phrase. I think, what was that name? Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. He was a prime minister. He popularly said, "We will eat grass, but we will develop nuclear weapon." मतलब हम घास खाएंगे पर nuclear weapon बनाएंगे. So this kind of statement shows you when a country considered other country as a security threat, they invest everything to protect that. To the extent the politicians are saying, "We will eat grass, but we'll develop nuclear weapon." तो अब घास ही खा रहे हैं अभी तक. इसमें it was assisted by China and Saudi Arabia. वो करेंगे न्यूक्लियर टाइम में. चाइना का अलग रैशनल था. चाइना का ही रैशनल नहीं था कि हम घास खाएंगे, कीड़े खाएंगे. चलिए, एनीवे, सो हाँ, तो क्लियर है, दिस इज कॉल्ड सिक्योरिटी डिलेमा. व्हेन अ कंट्री फील दैट अदर कंट्री इज अ सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट, so they take counter measures. And next is insecurity dilemma. It is within the country. When a country suffer from riots, civil war, for example, India's case, Naxalism, secession. So when a country suffer from all these events, they are called as insecurity dilemma because it is within. Insecurity is within a person, na? So insecurity dilemma means when a country is in having problem within the country. So these are insecurity dilemma. Security dilemma is outside of the country. Insecurity is within the country. And in both cases, what happens is country takes efforts to counter those threats. अब वो बोला गया, we will keep on discussing कि वो कितने genuine है कितने नहीं. That's a different case. But dilemmas are clear. नहीं अमन, we should not assist anyone in nuclear weapon. Why we should not assist? Because वो हम समझेंगे, because we want to be a member of NSG, Nuclear Supply Group. और उसमें इंडिया का biggest reason that India always propounds at the world level that we are a responsible nuclear power. अगर हमने किसी को भी असिस्ट किया like पाकिस्तान, तो we will not be considered a responsible nuclear power. और फिर हमारा जो ऑरा है, तो our soft power basically with nuclear weapon will go away. तो ऐसी stupidity नहीं करेंगे कोई. Which weapon? Nuclear weapons. Who from where? मतलब कौन? India? अरे India actually नहीं, we did not buy from anyone. We always had the capacity to produce nuclear weapons. It's a story long है. Simple सी ये है कि there was a person called Homi Bhabha. ठीक है? That person communicated to Nehru ji that we can develop nuclear weapon. Give me some time. So he said नहीं. Because he was idealist. लेकिन नेहरू के साथ कोई problem थी. He was a very idealist person. He see the world as a good and everything. So Patel was realist anyway. So by the time Indira Gandhi comes, Indira Gandhi carried out first nuclear explosion 1970s में. And the material that we used was from Canada. Actually Canada ने हमारे साथ एक nuclear plant लगाया था. हमने उसमें से निकाल लिया था. ठीक है, तो हर कंट्री यही करता. कोई आपको न्यूक्लियर वेपन थोड़ा ना देगा. तो हमने चुरा लिया था उसमें. हमने कहा चलो लेट्स हैव इट. चलो उसमें करेंगे. We will understand that later. So because of these dilemma, a person suffer from something we again refer to as prisoner's dilemma. Because of the threat that you feel, the security threat and the insecurity threat, you are in a prisoner's dilemma. And this theory is used to explain nuclear weapons. You have developed a weapon which you are not going to use. The crores and crores of rupees you have invested, all China, India, whatever may be the case, that money could be diverted to something useful. But yet you are doing this. Why? That is called prisoner's dilemma. Because you are unsure whether the other country will obey or not. मान लेते हैं India Pakistan signs a treaty in 1950 that both of us will not develop nuclear weapon. But the problem is both countries are in prisoner's dilemma. They are unsure whether the other country will follow the covenant or not. मान लेते हैं we followed by heart, Pakistan did not. What will happen? They will have nuclear weapon, we will not. So they will be a stronger party. The reason is you cannot trust another party. And that's why all countries remain in prisoner's dilemma. And they keep on investing on military, nuclear weapon, this and that, diverting essential supplies from the people for the armed forces. Very good example, Pakistan. Pakistan is poor only because of Pakistani army. Pakistani army since the beginning cornered majority of Pakistan's resources. But when it was asked why? When it was asked why, so they gave a reason, India. They said we have a country called India which is enemy to us and we want to counter them. So we have to capture parts of your resources. You got the point? They created a prisoner's dilemma here. The people of Pakistan thought, yaar, sahi baat hai. We may die out of hunger, but at least the country will be protected. तो ठीक है, होते हैं. You have not seen the people in India. It's a problem. हम समझेंगे strong man problem आती है, वो समझेंगे इंडिया पाकिस्तान में. Anyway, yeah. Cuban Missile Crisis, yes, security dilemma में आएगा. We were almost at nuclear annihilation, almost. Security dilemma में आएगा, but developing nuclear weapon आपका आएगा prisoners dilemma में. किसको? इंडिया को क्या? 1998 में, 1970s में we carried out first explosion which was unsuccessful, Pokhran 1, ऑपरेशन शक्ति, सॉरी ऑपरेशन स्माइलिंग बुद्धा इट इज नोन बाय द नेम. उसके बाद हमने दोबारा करा. Yes, Aman, you have got it very right. हाँ, I told you ना, Aman, this is the part ना, insecurity and security dilemma both lead to business dilemma. They both are the part. That is the problem, Nitin. अब उस basically saying we see even a match of India Pakistan by the eyes of enemies. इसमें when we will do India and क्या बोलते हैं इसे, India Pakistan. चलो कर लो, सब बात कर लो, फिर बताना. हो गई बातें? कर ली सारी डिबेट डिस्कशन? यार आई फॉरगॉट, मैं कुछ बात कर रहा था, मैं क्या बोल रहा था. हाँ, इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच वाला. तो द प्रॉब्लम इज इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच को भी वी सी फ्रॉम द आईज ऑफ एनिमी. फॉर एग्जांपल देयर वाज अ पर्टिकुलर जर्नलिस्ट, ही सेड दैट पाकिस्तान फाइट्स एवरी मैच लाइक अ वॉर. ठीक है, तो उसमें हम जब इंडिया पाकिस्तान करेंगे वी विल डू स्टेफन पी कोहेन्स थ्योरी. He has emphasized on paired minority conflict. समझेंगे सब कुछ. He has simply said that in both countries there are certain elements which will never allow good relations. His basic argument is, you think that Jammu Kashmir is the issue. Even if India gives Jammu Kashmir to Pakistan, or Pakistan gives Jammu Kashmir, entire Jammu Kashmir to India, even then these countries will not have good relations. The reason is there are certain minorities in both countries which are so much surviving on animosity between two countries. In Pakistan, it's Pakistani army. I told you, no, Pakistani army appropriated a large part of Pakistan resources. They are the reason Pakistan is a poor country. They did not allow the democracy to take root in Pakistan. Why? And they always use the example India. Now imagine India Pakistan have good relations. Then how come the Pakistani army will justify disproportionate capture resources? Similarly, कुछ लोग इंडिया में है, नाम नहीं लेंगे because we love our freedom, because but हम सबको पता है ना, every time vote us, otherwise Pakistan will be happy. दिवाली होगी पाकिस्तान में अगर आपने हमें वोट नहीं दिया. The media which always say Hindu Pakistan, Hindu Muslim India Pakistan, they all are part of a Stephen P. Cohen's theory. They are in a paired minority conflict. हम समझेंगे all the conflict in the world, be it Shia Sunni, be it Israel versus Arab, be it India Pakistan, they all are ego wars between some people trying to preserve their rule. ठीक है, चलिए इसे लिख लेते हैं. चलिए लिखिए, प्लीज राइट डाउन. सिक्योरिटी एंड सिक्योरिटी डिलेमा में, सिक्योरिटी डिलेमा बेसिकली रेफर्स, सिक्योरिटी डिलेमा basically refers to a tendency among the nations, to consider other nations, as security threat. Other nations as security threat. Full stop. For this, the nations go for. क्या करेंगे कोई नेशन, if the other nation is a security threat, what the nation will go for? Concepts में बताइएगा. तो उसे क्या बोलेंगे? इन्वेस्टमेंट इन आर्मी, मेकिंग अलायंसेस. हमने पढ़ा तो था. हाँ, बैलेंसिंग. एवरी कंट्री गो फॉर बैलेंसिंग, वेदर इंटरनल और एक्सटर्नल. यस अमन, बिल्कुल सही. इंटरनल बैलेंसिंग और एक्सटर्नल बैलेंसिंग. For this the nation go for internal and external balancing. For this the nations go for internal and external balancing. Then everyone, next para, the insecurity dilemma. The insecurity dilemma refers to the threat to security refers to the threat to security of a nation. Threat to security of a nation. But unlike the security dilemma, these threat lies within the country. Unlike the security dilemma, these threats lie within the country. Full stop. For example, Naxalism. For example, Naxalism in India. For example, Naxalism in India. Full stop. Next, write down prisoner's dilemma. Prisoner's dilemma. Prisoner's dilemma. Prisoners are basically, it's a very simple, उसमें हमने समझ तो लिया है concept. It is based on a very simple story. There are two prisoners, two people were caught while stealing something. Okay, they were taken into two different chambers. The police personnel promised them, अगर आप commit कर लोगे तो you will, if you commit, then you will get lesser punishment or maybe set free. ठीक है, अगर उसने commit कर लिया आपने नहीं करा तो you will be given twice the punishment. So in the dilemma, both countries, in the dilemma, both party will remain. It is highly likely that both will confess. इसे कॉल्ड prisoner's dilemma. Actually ये मैथमेटिक्स में इस्तेमाल होता है Nash equilibrium में. इसका इस्तेमाल किया गया था Nash equilibrium में बहुत अच्छी तरह से while disbursing prisoners. हाँ, yes. उसमें एक efficient बनता, उसका इस्तेमाल हुआ था. It's a very important thing. It was used in while distributing spectrum in UK. तो उसको उस तरीके से Nash equilibrium के तहत डिजाइन किया गया that the biddings जो लगाई गई ultimately they end up more than 10 times it should be. तो ये ऐसे ही नहीं है. It's a very deep theories and they are used every day by a lot of intellectuals. हमें भी हायर करने चाहिए कुछ. Yes, बिल्कुल सही नितिन. Game theory. Anyway, write down. Prisoner's dilemma में write down. It is a dilemma. It is a dilemma some party faces. It is a dilemma some party faces in a treaty. In a treaty. Some party faces in a treaty because treaty भैया, treat और why? Treaty because if one party does not obey, then the other party, if one party does not obey, then the other party which obeys the treaty, will be at disadvantage. The other party which obeys the treaty will be at disadvantage. Done, everyone? Full stop. For example, nuclear weapons. For example, nuclear weapons are considered as a classical case of prisoner's dilemma. Nuclear weapons are considered as a classical case of prisoner's dilemma. Dilemma. Okay. So these are few concepts. Some concept will come when we discuss a topic. Okay, वहाँ पे they will make more sense. Okay, this overs are basics. Now we will do India Pakistan. First we will start India and its neighborhood. Within that we will start India and Pakistan. Put down the heading India and Pakistan, new chapter. Yes. We are starting with India and neighborhood. First we will do all the neighborhoods. Then we will move to great powers. Then we will move to international institutions. India and its neighborhood. Within this first chapter is India and Pakistan. To understand India Pakistan, we need to start with the foundation here. We need to start with the foundation. The foundation is idea of India versus idea of Pakistan. That will be the starting point. That will help you understand why we are here and where we can go. So, what is any idea? Can you differentiate between the both countries? The idea of their foundation principles. What was the foundational principle of Pakistan? Pakistan religion, India democracy, बिल्कुल सही. Islamic Republic of Pakistan. To form a Muslim state. India secular, Pakistan. हाँ ठीक है. Basically, everybody is saying the same thing, but not coming to the theory. ठीक है. Journalistic term में तो everyone can say we are supposed to be scholars, half cooked. तो शुरुआत करते हैं. देखिए, आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया वर्सेस आइडिया ऑफ पाकिस्तान. आइडिया ऑफ पाकिस्तान इज नोन एज टू नेशंस थ्योरी. व्हाट इज दिस टू नेशंस थ्योरी? यस वैशाख, बिल्कुल सही. टू नेशंस थ्योरी. व्हाट इज दिस टू नेशन थ्योरी? बेसिकली जिन्ना, इट वाज बेसिकली स्टार्टेड बाय सैयद अहमद खान. ठीक है. ओवर टाइम जिन्ना अडॉप्टेड इट. जिन्ना परफेक्टेड दिस थ्योरी बेसिकली. तो दे सेड हाँ अंबर, ये भी डिफरेंस हो सकता है. एनीवे, तो टू नेशन थ्योरी व्हाट इट सेज दैट हिंदूज एंड मुस्लिम्स आर टू डिफरेंट नेशंस, कैन नॉट लिव टुगेदर. दैट्स द फाउंडेशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान. So Pakistan was formed only to create a Muslim state. That's why if you look at the constitution of Pakistan, it says that this entire world is made by Allah and on behalf of Allah we are governing this territory. इसी language में कुछ है, पर sense यही है. But what is our first line of our constitution? First line of our constitution, we the people of India. So the foundation is different. There they are putting religion as the supreme power, and on behalf of religion they are governing a country. So can Pakistan go against Islam? Nahi, because religion is supreme there. In India, people are supreme. So that's the idea of India, which we know by the name of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We were very fortunate when I believe Quit India movement तो हो ही गया होगा आपका. तो Quit India movement को who opposed Quit India movement? Who opposed Britishers के अलावा? Who opposed Quit India movement except Britishers? Jinnah opposed, yes. Anyone else? Ambedkar opposed. Ambedkar called this movement as a mad venture of Gandhi. All the rightist people opposed. All these people, the Hindu Mahasabha and all they opposed. Muslim League opposed. Except for Congress, nobody supported this. Can we call these people terrorists now? Because imagine if I ask freedom, India was asking freedom, and Hindu Mahasabha and all these people were not supporting. Can we call them terrorists? Muslim League तो चलो चली गई, but Hindu Mahasabha तो इंडिया में ही है. Can we call them terrorists? No. That's the difference in here. We said, because we were fortunate, the leader here was Congress, led by Nehru, Gandhi and all, Patel as well. So these people said one thing: we may be getting divided in the name of religion. We may be getting divided in the name of religion, but India is not being made in the religion. We are dividing this land in the name of religion, but India will not be a religious country. Basically, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it was Rabindranath Tagore who emphasized on this. India is a country for all. For example, an American citizen living in India, married in India, having kids in India and jobs in India. He is not Indian citizen yet, but according to this principle, he is as Indian as you and I. He may not be citizen. Clear? That's why आज के समय में if you've seen a lot of politics, they say कि why these Muslims are here. कुछ पार्टियां कहती हैं अभी भी. In a lot of election rally, they say, you got your country, why you are here? Because they do not understand the foundation. Pakistan was created in the name of religion. We were not. Even Nehru felt that Pakistan, he used to say that Pakistan is not a viable country. He believed that Pakistan will one day end and come back to India. It was his belief. वो अलग बात नहीं हुआ, because he did not understand a component called hate. Hate is very powerful. If you love somebody, it's different, but if you hate somebody, you can go to destroying yourself to destroy that person. So that hate component was here. Foundation is clear. This is different foundation we have. अब the next significant event comes in. We all know 1965 war. Before this, there was another war in Jammu Kashmir. ठीक है, जम्मू कश्मीर वाले में कुछ नहीं था. Basically, we all know Pakistan tried to capture Jammu Kashmir by army. The Kabaile and all, they were propagated, instigated them. Army mixed with them. They tried to capture Jammu Kashmir. Ultimately, we know Maharaja Hari Singh signed instrument of accession, and ultimately India tried to protect them. Then the line was created, which was known as ceasefire line. At that point of time, the current LOC was known as ceasefire line. This is the intro. Rest of the thing we will do in issues. How we will cover everything, India, Pakistan. First we will do historical evolution, and then we will do specific issue. What is the issue? What is the problem? What could be done? All issues. Clear? So यहाँ पे after this significant event which created our ceasefire line, Karachi Agreement, then comes the 1965. This is important because this comes just after 1962. 1962 में the parties were India on the one side along with US, Pakistan, China, and this was the equation then. US initially tried India. US was like, India is a democracy, let's have it in our goal. Cold War was going on, सबको पता है Cold War, a war between a capitalist and a communist system going on. So initially US tried India. At this point of time, 1962 में, US sent its nuclear armed ship to Indian Ocean for India's assistance. Nuclear gave us US gave us weapons and every assistance possible. And another thing, US pressurized Russia not to come into the war. China was there. Look at the switching happened. That's why at this one principle will be established, that in international relations there are no permanent enemy, there are no permanent friends. What is permanent is interest. We will see through this that how, depending upon the interest of the country, this equation change every time. ठीक है, अब 1965 war happens. It was basically Pakistan thought कि इन्होंने 1962 में we were defeated. It was backstabbing basically. We were not expecting China to attack. तो आपको they caught us by surprise. That's why they won. उसके बाद we had two another small wars with China. आपको पता है ना, 1960s and 80s में in both wars we defeated China. Because at that point of time we were prepared. ये तो backstabbing थी हमारे साथ. So anyway, तो पाकिस्तान thought कि मैं भी ऐसे कुछ करता हूँ. ठीक है. I also try because India is currently a weak country. Let's have something. कुछ मजा आ जाएगा. But बात बनी नहीं. They were basically battered badly. And we know then Tashkent agreement was signed. Not very important. Tashkent agreement याद रखेंगे तो fine. Not important. तो यहाँ तक हम पहुंचते हैं 1965 तक. So far only significant event is Jammu Kashmir and the ceasefire line creation. बाकी तो events है. अब आते हैं next significant issue पे 1971. This year is the most important year in IR. After this, 1979 is the most important year. In this year, parallelly various things were going on in the world. वहां पे पिंग पोंग डिप्लोमेसी चल रही थी चाइना से, उसको थोड़ा सा समझते हैं. 1971 में what happened? We know we created Bangladesh. First, understand the significance here. On what basis Pakistan was created? Religion. Pakistan said we are a country of Muslims. But when Indira Gandhi divided Pakistan into two, then this notion of two nations came under challenge. We said, you were saying, na, you are a country of Muslims. What happened to these Bengalis? Why they are going away? Pakistan, remember this, Pakistan's entire life is to justify its existence. Because we are a proper country. The presence of a Muslim majority Jammu Kashmir, the presence of Muslims in India prospering is a slap on Pakistan's face. It shows that Pakistan was unnecessarily created. But if what is happening currently, it justifies Pakistan. जब जम्मू कश्मीर करेंगे तो we will see some scholars. They've said that by removing 370, what we have done, we proved Jinnah right. That Muslims will never be treated at par with Hindus. So you got the point. Entire life Pakistan tried to justify its existence. We as a country have the right to exist because you do not treat Muslim with dignity. But India's continuance as a secular state, a state of Vasudev Kutumbakam, denied Pakistan's existence, and that's why Pakistan always remained frustrated. Significance समझ में आ रहा है 1971 का? Now come to the event. 1971 में we had two parties as we always have, but this time we had China, USA and Pakistan. On the other hand, we had India and USSR. This was the equation. So you see the change of equation now. All of a sudden, a country which was with us in 1962, in 1971, it went to China. अब इसका एक अलग रीजन था. The reason was simple. देखिए, there was a war going on between USA and USSR, Cold War. अब what is good except enemy's enemy is your friend. यहाँ तक तो क्लियर है. थोड़ा सा we will go in detail. China. At that point of time when this communism was born, हमारे पास था capitalism. We have discussed capitalism, everyone. को पता ना, capitalism is a system where you have two people, the capitalist and the working class. They are in an economic relation. So capitalism was challenged by communism. And communism has clearly said, Karl Marx has clearly said, that nationalism is false consciousness. Nationalism is false consciousness. And everyone remember, the modern nationalism is anyway an outcome of 30-year war. हमने समझा था 30-year war में modern nations were born. This fixed territory concept, it was not in India. It evolved in Western countries. Later on, Britishers brought that concept to India. And that's why we have border disputes. Because they were never settled. There used to be empires. They used to expand and contract. Expand and contract. कोई settled border नहीं था. It was later on created. It is an outcome of modern times and a direct impact of colonialism. इसलिए मैंने आपको सारे कंसेप्ट कराए थे because we will again use all concepts simultaneously. तो प्लीज उन्हें रिवाइज करते रहिएगा. इसने क्या पूछा? उस पर डिबेट करेंगे वैशाख. वी विल हैव अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डिबेट ऑन जम्मू कश्मीर 370. अभी नहीं कर रहे उस पर, हम उसे केवल आया के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखेंगे. ठीक है, वी विल सी बोथ साइड्स, डोंट वरी. तो एनीवे, यहां तक क्लियर हुआ. सो व्हाट यू हैड इज कैपिटलिज्म वाज चैलेंज्ड बाय कम्युनिज्म, एंड कम्युनिज्म बिलीव्स दैट नेशंस आर false consciousness. How? For example, a worker in India with whom he has more interest with a, for example, a worker in India has more interest with Adani in India or some worker in USA. A worker in India has similar interest to whom? The Adani in India, the capitalist in India, or a worker in USA? Worker in USA. आप लोगों ने क्या बोला था? किसी ने अडानी बोला था यहाँ पे. Somebody said Adani, so I heard Adani. So anyway, but you got the logic. He said that these nations are basically, remember, the fixed nation we discussed, na? Territory. They evolved out of capitalism. I laid a factory. Now I want protection of that factory. If there is one king, other king will come, other king will come. Then as a capitalist, as a factory owner, I will be unsure how much taxes will be imposed, who will honor the contract, and whose under jurisdiction I am. For that, this concept of nationalism with fixed boundary and fixed government evolved along with capitalism. And that's why communism said this fixed nations are basically an illusion. They are a false consciousness created deliberately to divide the working class solidarity. The basic logic is the workers of the world unite. A worker in India, what that person may want? Good wages, some time, leisure time, some health, other benefits. Same the worker in USA will want. It is clear, na? They all want same reasons. They want same kind of comfort and everything. So communism, remember, does not believe in territorial nations. यहाँ तक मुझे आना था नहीं बकैती करके. तुमको समझ में आया? That communism does not believe in territorial nations. And that is why when USSR and China became communist, remember they are not communist. तो ये याद रखिएगा, they are not communist by any standard. Karl Marx communism is very different. They claim themselves communist, but they are not. वो बाद में बात करेंगे कभी. So they became communist to namesake. So what is the orientation in USA? USA understood communism. So they thought, yaar, both these countries are one. Both are communist, and communism clearly says that nations are false consciousness. So they thought, yaar, ये तो एक ही साथ है, इनका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. But a very peculiar event happened in 1960s. In 1960s, both these countries fought on border. There was some border dispute between China and USSR. They fought on border. Of course, USSR beat China. China तो कुछ था ही नहीं इस वक्त. So this myth that all communist countries are one got broken. In this time in 1971, at that point of time, US में Nixon, not our Nixon, the real Nixon was the president. That person started the policy known as ping pong diplomacy. Yes, ping pong होता ना वो खेलने वाला, ping pong diplomacy. यहाँ तक सबको समझ में आया ना, that they believe that they should be one, but एक war हो गई इन दोनों के बीच में, then they ultimately acquired. What is the simple logic is, enemy is your friend. For USA, USSR was an enemy country, and this person had fight with this. तो सीधी सी बात है ना, you, for example, there are two people together, you want one of them, तो आप क्या वेट करते हैं उनके बीच की लड़ाई का? As soon as a fight happen, you say, आओ कंधा. God, that Kanda became USA. It said you fought with him. This is super power. So चलो मेरे साथ. अब इसके लिए चाइना से दोस्ती करनी, अब आप डायरेक्टली अपोज तो करोगे नहीं, ठीक है, इंसल्ट हो जाएगी, नीडी पीपल. तो क्या करोगे आप? थर्ड पर्सन का इस्तेमाल करोगे, कोई फ्रेंड का, कॉमन फ्रेंड, भाई बात करवा दे. तो दैट कॉमन फ्रेंड बिकेम पाकिस्तान. USA went to Pakistan because Pakistan had an affair with China and US wanted China. Clear how this coalition was made? USA, China and Pakistan were on the one side. US goal was to go near to China to counter USSR. For that it went near to Pakistan. On the other hand, when USSR saw कि भाई ये तो यहाँ चला गया, तो USSR said, okay India, I'm yours. दोनों ने दो अलग व्यक्ति चुन लिए. Clearly this fight going on. अब USA, this country sent in 1962 USS Enterprise, its ship, nuclear powered, for India. Same ship it sent in 1971 to pressurize India. It do not go in Bangladesh. तो देखा, एक ही शिप से दो काम करे. Depending upon the US interest change, it change its narrative. चलो, तो यहाँ से कल करेंगे स्टोरी, ठीक है. यहाँ तो क्लियर है ना सबको? That we have two powers. We will do rest later.